Howdy folks, Zethios here, and welcome back to Tyranny. When last we left off, we got ourselves wrecked in a fight, and now we're going to try that fight again. And hopefully it goes better this time. We had to go, because we haven't saved, which I made sure to save right before this. So now we're here, and we don't have to go through all the fights throughout the whole fort again. So we're a little better off than we were in the last time, because Barrack didn't go down in these fights before this, and so he doesn't have any wounds in the fight, so he's able to heal to full health. Alright, let's get in. We're gonna use everything at our disposal this fight, because we just kind of need to. So let's go in. Where's your arrow storm? There we go. Everybody's in. So
this weapon is like nipples on men.
Unstoppable!
See, look at that. Like that, we had to use that for that to be any effect. I want to use this.
Not a problem.
And then Barrack needs to use the grasp.
Sorry about that.
She able to use her missile? No, she was not. Use her missile. Alright, that guy's done for. You're doing a lot better now. We had to utilize some of our once per rest stuff, but that guy's disengaging like a dummy.
Pity you won't enjoy this as much as I do.
So he's done for.
I'll tear your skeleton out by your ass.
She really loves saying that. Good lord. Alright, there we go. Woo. Fight went a lot better that time. And nobody had anything to give us, huh? Okay. Alright, let's quick save. And then head inside. What have we here? Wheel of Fortune. Gives us lucky, more deflection, and more hit precision. So we got Ebb fully. We got the Tidecaster's Opal, which I forgot we had. We got the Insignia and the Silent Archive. He's got his Cleansing Charm. Gives him immunity to poison. We got him that. It gives him parry. Right now, she's got the Emerald Pin. Shirley's not doing much for her, so let's give her this pin instead. This Jewel of Fortune gives her the lucky thing going on. Alright. Into the keep we go. See what hell awaits us in there. At least there won't be Banes. At least I hope not. Now that I say it, there's definitely gonna be Banes, aren't they? Alright, so did they... Scarlet Chorus already make their way inside? Looks like that's the case. Oh, there's Brown Bottom. Oh. Alright. Let's quick save here. We have a big choice, I bet. Alright, Regent. Tips his head to Straydus. I'm going to make this very simple for us both. You can join us in the Scarlet Chorus and create a prosperous future in the tiers. Or, well, there isn't a second option. See how easy it can be? Try not to complicate matters by thinking about it for too long. Persuasive as ever, the Chorus tries to make these difficult decisions as easy as possible. My elite soldiers absorbed into the voices of Narat's slave army? He chuckles, but there's a lining of unease to it. The Scarlet Chorus will never control Sentinel Stand. This is the House of Regents, not the squatting den for your verminous gangs. The gang boss edges closer to Herodin. We don't have to kill each other, Regent. The voice of Narat has a number of offers on the table, and many of them end with you enjoying a long life, he smiles. Or some semblance of life. Matthias... I came here to kill the Regent, not to conscript him. Matthias growls and looks at Jagadruni. You lied to me. I did no such thing. The voices needs the edict to stand a while longer. Your revenge can wait until our war with the disfavored is finished. The regent holds his weapon firm, but Jagged Rudy's words leave him troubled. Stay back, I tell you. Voices will have to seek his amusement elsewhere. I refuse to become a servant to Kairos. And haven't you served Kairos by keeping this edict alive, Regent? Remedy laughs quietly to himself. As much as I would take pleasure in killing you, please remember that I'm here to offer you alternatives. Definitely not the first two options. So we're not claiming it for the Scarlet Chorus. We're not having him submit to the voices of Nerat. The last chance, Straydus. Surrender Amelia, we might show mercy. He trades a glance with his soldiers and nods, full of determination. I would not subject my worst enemy to the mercy you offer. None of us will be coming quietly. This is a fight. Alright, this is my seat of power, and I will not hand it over to the likes of upstart brigands. You understand nothing of power, Regent. These stones belong to those with the strength to keep them. Right now, that isn't you. Remember, we want him alive. He snaps forward and attacks.
Look at that!
Alright, you go ahead and go after that guy.
Future course.
Alright, what do we have left? We got some stuff. I do definitely do
On my
that.
command.
Yeah, look at that. And then Light of the Grave. Yes.
On my command.
Definitely do that. Iron Storm. Just gonna freaking use everything. Alright, go ahead and go after that guy. Very nice. Alright. With all that damage we're doing, we're getting a lot of health too, which is good. Alright, do we have anything else? Death from above. And go ahead and go after that guy. Very nice verse. Alright. Iron Tolling. Nah, do Bloodsuck Stone.
We can do this!
Damn my eyes!
Alright. There we go. Let's just go ahead and get the blades out.
Damn thing couldn't pierce cloth.
Alright, can you use your Arcane Missile, if you will, please? Oh, Barrack is getting wrecked. What's going on?
Fall before me! This help.
Alright, Eb, how is this guy still freaking living?
Not a problem.
Like, seriously. Can we, like...
Fuck is wrong with my...
Oh, there you go.
Take that!
Oh, dang it. Couldn't lift him up and knock him down. Darn it. Jagged Rudy cleaned up our mess. Don't like that at all. The Regent lies on the ground, bloodied and defeated. He extends his good arm and drops his weapon. If only I had the breath to spend defying you, but I fear the fight has left me. Straydus, I'm not above dragging you mangled and shrieking back to cacophony. If you think this is finished, you're quite mistake the matter. You filth! Zethios grimaces at Straydus. Don't expect sympathy after what you've done. It was enough to keep the edict alive. You fought us to protect it. Stalwart is finished with your miserable reign and will be stronger without you. One of Straydus' soldiers moves between you and Herodin, tearing off her helmet. I won't let you do this. A gasp echoes from the shadows of Barrack's helmet. Amelia, alive, but you've come to the Regent's defense. What's the meaning of this? Explain yourself, girl. Some of us could use an explanation. And some of us could use a stiff drink. But you don't see me breaking into your home and slaughtering my way to the decanter, do you? She shakes her head. Provisions without end in the cellar, but nothing to distill. Why do I get the impression that more than just the tears have rubbed off on this one? I'm not the northern warlord I once was. She winces at the very thought. Sitting out the conflict made me see this conquest from a different perspective. She looks to you with a plea in her eyes. We were wrong. Kairos led us From the right path centuries ago. We marched south to finish the Overlord's work, but she squeezes her eyes shut. Don't you see that the tears are the last chance for us to make this right? You took your sweet time coming to your senses. The Unbroken could have used a sympathetic defector. If that dream is all but shattered now, I should kill you for fighting with the Regent, but the Scarlet Chorus has other plans. Straydus shares fate. I don't want him to share the fate. Let's right now if she's a new path. No. Fighting for the Regent is treason. Bah. Regent is beaten to keep his hours. Alright. You were a prisoner. What happened? No time for a story. She glares. Not while we have our blades pointed at each other. If any of us survives this, which I suspect isn't likely, I'll tell you everything. Right now, you need to stand down and back away from the Regent. Why are you fighting for Stalwart? Because Stalwart has a fighting chance at winning back their independence. Because we invaded this realm on the mad whims of a tyrant. Because many reasons. I'm going to say, out of these options, I'm going to say the Regent is beaten to keep his hours. Will you cooperate? Never. I know what atrocities you and the rest of Tunan's ilk are capable of visiting upon us. I know that what my father does to traitors and deserters. My father. Her voice catches, and it takes a moment to find her words. I love my father, but it's nothing compared to the love I felt for the father of... Medea, please be silent. Straydus looks at her with desperation. It's over. You understand? I'm dying. Save your strength for more important things. He turns to you with a look of apprehension. Your master didn't send you to resolve the edict, yet I lie stricken before you. Whatever strength I possess, I will use it to stop you from taking Amelia or my people. They deserve more than I could ever give them, and better than what Dark Fate the Voices promises. Out of these, I'm gonna say too bad my orders didn't specify mercy. Before you take action, you catch Amelia begin to raise her weapon from the corner of your eye. Amelia, stop. Vince is hardly possessing the energy of the Archie. You have to keep your promise, remember? Focused, determined air about Amelia falls to resignation. She delivers a curt nod and leaves the room, darting you a killing look on her way out. Amelia disappears into another room, unwilling to watch what you're about to unfold. Boss looks at Straydus with a lingering frown. I can just tell that this one isn't going to come peacefully. Judging from blood loss alone, he won't survive being carried out of this fortress. Besides, the Voices will be disappointed, but it couldn't have been avoided. He glances at his newest conscript. Should we offer Brownbottom here the honor of dispatching the last regent? Looks to be as if he's champing at the bit for the opportunity. I would like nothing better than to ram a spike through Herodin's traitorous heart. Yeah, we'll let him do it. Zethios steps forward and buries his axe into the regent's chest. Straydus collapses instantly, a final gasp escaping his lips. Straydus' body falls to the ground, and you watch the blood pool over the floor in silence. There's a feeling of anticipation in the air, but as the seconds pass, it never materializes into anything. The surge of arcane energy and the sense of relief you experience in Session Hall is missing. You hear the howl of the storm outside, and you realize that the edict endures. Huh. Curious. I understood that the Edict of Storms would abate when the last of the regents died. Could we have been mistaken? Ah. There is yet another. From across the hall you hear a faint cry, a baby's cry, and realization dawns on you. Oh my. So did Straydus Herodin and Graven Ashe's daughter Amelia have a baby? Is that enough time? I guess it is, if it's as a tiny baby. As always, a regent has always ruled from this throne in Stalwart for at least the last 500 years, an unbroken bloodline that has survived through numerous generations. Oh boy.
Just point me in the right direction.
We're at the side of kid's fate. Are you kidding me? Don't do this to me, game. Oh, she's got her blocking the doorway. Amelia regards you with the eyes that brim with tears, yet blaze with hints of her father's grim resolve. She has armored herself in disfavored raiment to face you down. Stay away from my daughter. You will not have her. Oh no. Oh. By the Archon's mercy, don't let this be so. Barrett covers his face and howls softly. How is this possible? Zethios, when man and woman really love each other, you know, birds and bees appear, and a stork comes with a package from Amazon, and there's a baby. Oh boy. Alright. So yeah, it's definitely, you never know how it's possible. They banged Zethios, so we're not asking that. Now that you've killed Straydus Herodin, she is. Amelia draws herself up and glares at you. She has nothing to do with Kairos or the Edict. You have no right to judge her on the basis of blood. You know this would prolong it. We suspected that the bloodline would implicate my baby in Kairos' eyes, but I knew nothing for certain until this moment. She shakes her head. Don't ask me to interpret the Overlord's heartless design. I have no love for this edict, if that's what you're asking. It's torn a noble realm to pieces, fractured the pillar of their culture, and ruined countless lives. She releases a heavy sigh and hardens her intense gaze. But I have a responsibility to the people of Stalwart to preserve their heritage and leadership. My father and the other Archons destroyed this nation. She and I... Amelia glances back to the crib, then quickly focuses back on you. We can help put it together. What a curious development this has become. Jagged Remedy taps his chin in thought. Your aspirations are folly, of course, but there may be an alternative solution waiting in the wings. Alright, I guess we have to ask how this is possible. Fine, Zethios, you big dumb. Do you need me to draw it out for you? Because there are a few ways it can happen. And people get confused about these things. First lifts her leg above her head, but you cut her off with a gesture. Way to go, Verse. Alright. My union with Straydus the Younger. Even in remembrance, Amelia doesn't shed her warlike resolve. He showed me kindness behind these walls and taught me about Stalwart in the Tears. The culture and heritage that made these people the pride of the realm. He died in the 3rd year of the conquest, and his favorite spear pinned him to the ground. He fought to defend, and he never rose again. Okay, so not that old guy over there. That's like Granddad over there. The Regent remained in Sentinel Stand for her protection. The edict was his responsibility to shoulder, not hers. She tips her head down in challenge. My daughter will not be another victim of Kairos' conquest. She has the blood of the North coursing through her veins, and no one has the right to take her life. Man, this really sucks. This game's presenting us with 2 crappy options. So, the Voice of the Run offers you this hospitality. No way to go. So, I'm not doing the Voices of Marat. So, don't make this difficult on me. The Voice appreciates challenging prey, but I don't. She looks at you with total bewilderment. Do you think I'm such a fool that I'll let myself be intimidated by the likes of you? Do you for a moment imagine that I would stake my child's life on the words of a legal clerk who knows how promises can be twisted? Heartless piece of shit. You will not touch my daughter. She draws her weapon and lunges at you. Oh my god.
I'm on it.
This is useless.
Let's
Alright, Barrett,
try that again.
Try some.
get over there. Get on the bow.
Something else.
And you get out of there too. She's done for. Ouch. Good lord. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to freaking give her to the Voices of Nerat either. Amelia lies in a pool of blood, whimpering and reaching for her daughter's crib. Then she falls still. From across the room you hear a baby redouble her cries. A pity that the girl died, but I think the Voices should be more than pleased by even greater spoils. He looks at the crib. A scion of Ashe's bloodline to raise, to teach, to nurture. You may not think it to look at him, but the Voice of Nerat is a father without equal. Call this our best change of fortune since the war began. Not only do we possess the key to the Edict of Storms, but Graven Ashe and any loyalist to the fallen regents will think twice before launching an attack at Cacophony. He clucks his tongue on the roof of his mouth and nods to you. A fair day's work. To have this victory at Ashe's very doorstep. Curls his finger into a fist and breathes through his teeth. I'll remain here and send word to your success of the Archon. This is not the fate I envisioned for my country, but with Straydus gone, besides, there's hope. I suppose there's hope. I'll report to the voices. As sickening as I find the idea, I suppose I'm his now. Dagnabbit. Rust Charm. Inflicting crits.
Just point me in the right direction.
Man. The crib has been meticulously cleaned, while other objects in the hall have traces of dust and metallic powder on them. None of it is found here. Damn it. What's there left to do? I gotta return to Cacophony and talk with the voice of the Neuron again. Man, oh man. I don't like the way this ended up. This sucks. Really wanted a moment where I could screw the Scarlet Chorus and just take this for myself and have her rule this place in peace. This keep will be shipshape once it's had some work done. Okay. And now it's all Scarlet Chorus-ified. Ugh. You check with the voice of Neuron. I'll stay behind and see after the repairs. Yeah. Well, nope. Feel too good about this. Not one bit. Damn it. That kid has no chance. That kid is gonna be like freaking the Homelander kid from The Boys. Maybe even worse. Who knows? Gosh, what have we done? We've had a couple chances to, like it says, like break the alliance, but once we get after that certain point, it hasn't let us do it. So I think we're done in the Blade Grave now because we've done the barrack stuff, and we found that place. All right, we found the that sword in the stone. So we have a sage in the bastard tier. We have to talk to the voices. We have to go to the Merchant Crossroads. We get a lot of evidence weighing up against both. We need to return to the smith. So I think that's probably what we'll be doing next. Go ahead and level up Barrack. Alright, Mr. Barrack. Ability and spell cooldown. How do we... what? Like, affects him getting, like, knocked down. Does it resolve? At the higher your resolve, the more likely you're able to not get knocked over by that crap. Alright, so Barrack will attack twice. Armed with some movement speed. Gains a bonus to armor. Sure. We'll get his tankiness up a little bit. And what's the place we want to go to next? Not the Cacophony. The Secluded Forge is near that way. We can go to the Merchant Crossroads. Those are like our three options. We can go to the Sage, the Merchant Crossroads, or back to the Forge. I think we'll go Forge, Crossroads, Sage. I just want to do these things. I think we'll definitely have something, come across something on the way there. No? Yep, there we go. You spot a peculiar sight in the distance. A giant plateau, much like the one you stride upon, has collapsed, tilting across a large chasm as it fell and smashing into the side of another. Taller tower of stone and dirt. The two have fused into a single structure, with the remnants of the fallen plateau forming a narrow walkway along the chasm's edge. Newly formed path isn't an easy one. Sudden descents and uneven footing prove tiresome. Crumbling rock and loose dirt make for perilous travel. Deep shadow cast by the pillar above you blanket the path, making visibility worse than expected. Suddenly, the path in front of you ends, a 15-foot gap separating you from the walkable ground on the opposite side. You peer over the edge, but you can only see a dark expanse beneath you. Above you, you see a small rocky shelf with a tree bursting from its side, deeply embedded in the dirt. So we can use a pickaxe. We can climb, or we can backtrack. Carve our own path. That seems like a lot. Let's climb up to the shelf. Find a few rocks emerging from the side of the plateau wall and use them to pull your way up towards the shelf. The dirt is loose and the handholds unreliable, forcing you to continuously test every rock and root for stability. As you stretch your arms out to grasp the edge of the shelf, the rock underneath your feet. Left foot tumbles out of the wall, sending you sliding down the steep slope. You flail and grasp at anything that might break or fall, but nothing you touch stays rooted in the crumbling wall. You drop past the ledge, picking up speed, and as you brace yourself for a long fall, suddenly crash onto the ground. Dazed, you look around and realize that you've come to rest on a large shelf, obviously previously hidden by shadow, not very far from the ledge above. You laugh in relief, eliciting a sharp pain in your upper torso. A large rock was gracious enough to break your fall and one of your ribs. You regulate your breath to minimize the discomfort and climb out, reaching the opposite side of the broken ledge. Great. So we got broken ribs for everyone. I'm guessing until we rest again. Looks like we got a new missive. Alright. Again on the subject of Spire, so we talked about so we wanted to learn about Archons. So this is the sort of question that can get you killed. Very little is known about how Archons are born or come to power. My long life has taught me that Kairos and the Archons prefer it this way. If the young and talented remain forever in the dark, the old and mighty can rule without challenge. I heard of Ashe. He will always be merely Ashe to me. Before Kairos renamed him and gave his legion that backhanded title. As a rebel, a grimy, illiterate partisan who was winning battles while his countrymen in the Northern Kingdom lost left and right. Ashe was always a good leader, but he wasn't born able to mystically reach out and protect his soldiers. The earliest mention of it isn't even until the tail end of the Northern Conquest. If you read the journals, they don't tell stories of grievous harm warded off by Ashe's stern looks. Instead, they talk of his soldiers finding their fears and doubts lifted from them by Ashe's presence. Careful reading suggests the ability to actively protect physical harm came years later, as that bond grew, and more importantly, as his legend grew. The legend part is the key detail. In my understanding, an Archon's power is something of a self-fulfilling prophecy. The widespread perception of an Archon's power is the very thing that strengthens an Archon's power. So in Ashen's case, he had some early inkling of a power. The ability to assuage the burdens of his men, and as he took it on a mantle of power and became known all around Tyranny as the next Archon of War, it soon became the ability to bear the physical burdens of his men, not just their fears and doubts. Thus, my advice to you is to act like an Archon. Take power where you can find it, foster fear, foster love. Never walk through life anonymously, but rather live in the thoughts of your followers and the anxieties of your enemies. Alright, so these were the other two things that we could ask about, so let's inquire about Bledenmark. Alright, your wisdom in the matter is greatly appreciated. You've made mention of Bledenmark and his killings. During my training, Fatebinder Callio hinted that much of Bledenmark's work involves killing off threats before they blossom into genuine problems. So it's curious to hear you second that fact. So let's say for the sake of argument, I am some Archon. It's just a matter of time until Bledenmark is sent to kill me. Should I be making grand displays of loyalty to the court to assuage his suspicions? Alright. Get this show on the road. You're back. Did you secure the alloy? Give it here. She opens her palm and regards you with an enthusiastic grin. What do you plan on doing with it? First I'll poke, prod, and otherwise examine it. What comes after that depends on what I find after the poking and prodding. Alright, fine, here you go. Oh, fantastic. She accepts the alloy and places it on her anvil. Mumbling, she traces her fingers in the air, forming a series of sigils. With rapt attention, Barrick watches the smith move about the sample, examining it from several angles. He says nothing, though when the faceplate of his helm shifts towards you, there's accusation in his eyes. A few other thoughtful sounds follow as she continues her examination. This will do. This will most certainly do. She straightens, nodding vigorously. Lycentia brings her hands together again in a single sharp clap. It's going to take me a little time to work out the rock's properties, but this is a promising start. I assume that you'll be stabbing it with a hot iron rod as well? Of course not. Don't be ridiculous. Of course not. His armor grinds against itself with a growl. What are you worried about? Doesn't Graven Ashe protect? I'm not in the mood, Water Witch. Do let me know when you are in the mood. I have plans for the occasion. Pull up a stool or crate and make yourselves at home. This shouldn't take too long. Alright, so we're gonna wait here while she does it. A few hours pass as Lycentia bombards the sample from the blade grave with a combination of hammering and spell work. She heats it, submerges it in water, shapes it, wreaths it in lightning, and causes it to levitate in the air. Eventually she pauses, studying the metal and tapping her chin. Find anything? As sure as stones stay, I did. The alloy absorbs and retains mystical energy, specifically in the form of magical effects. She grins. In theory, a weapon crafted of it could retain its enchantment for decades at least, maybe longer. What's that mean for Barrick? It means your curiosity is sated. It means we can continue our true mission and forget this heretical quest. So you live your entire life in service to Graven Ashe and the Overlord. The added burden of this armor is ridiculous. As it should be. I don't suffer this armor because it is just. I suffer it because it is Kairos' will, and I am Kairos' servant, as you have often claimed to be. Unfortunately, separating Barrick from his armor may not be as easy as one imagines. Perhaps I've gotten to him immediately after the edict. As is, Barrick is as alloyed with his armor as the iron is with bronze. She gestures toward the sample. Simply put, Ashe's ability to shield his shoulders has spread to the armor, likely due to the edict's power. Each wound taken by soldier in armor are one, and they heal as one, with flesh and metal fusing together. She intertwines her fingers. So long as Barrick remains under the Archon of War's power, he remains in the armor. The longer he remains in the armor, the more it will become an intractable part of him. You're in a lot of trouble, you know. Can we remove the Aegis? Short of the death of Graven Ashe, or him rescinding his patronage over Barrick, I see no way to free Barrick from the Archon's power.
Neither is an acceptable solution. This shell, onerous though it may be, protects me and serves you. Without the great general or the disfavored, I have no purpose.
You have a new purpose, Barrick, with me and the party.
Oh, come on, you big crybaby. I'm sure there's a siege engine somewhere in need of a counterweight.
So you always got a place with us.
How comforting.
Alright, thank you, Lycentia. Please keep searching for a better way. My pleasure, Fatebinder. If I uncover anything of value, I'll dispatch a bird immediately. Alright, so we didn't find out any... Well, we found out some things, but it's going to be a lot harder than we thought. So we got to speak to him later. So we'll get to Versus side quest next time. So till next time, this has been Zethios signing out for now. Bye, folks.